In the gospel reading today, we hear about this poor widow who puts in just a couple of copper coins into the collection, and the Lord tells us that she gave more than everyone else because she gave of her need. They gave of their surplus. And if we extend that out, each one of us really needs to look into our own hearts and ask ourselves about our generosity toward the Lord, even toward one another. Remember, the Lord told us the greatest commandments are love God and love neighbor. And so we can ask ourselves, am I giving truly of my whole heart and soul and strength? Am I loving God with everything that I have? Or am I loving God with the surplus when it's convenient, when it's easy? But what happens when it gets difficult? You can look at the same thing with your spouse, you can look at the same thing with your children, you can look at the same thing just across the board when there are opportunities that arise to be able to practice charity. How often do we demonstrate more selfishness than charity? How often do we look out for our own self rather than for the good of the other? It's a huge challenge, because even someone who is generally a charitable person, if they really look into their heart, they might well see that there's still quite a bit of selfishness there, that still they're giving of their excess wealth and not of their need. Or putting it the other way, they're not giving their whole self. They're holding back. Now, if we really think about that for a second, on the day that you were baptized, you entered into the Lord 100%. On the day you were married, for those of you who are married, you gave yourself away 100%. So if you look at it and think, yeah, I'm kind of holding something back, it's like, where's the 100%? How much am I really giving? Was it just lip service that I was making those offerings, or did I really mean it? If I really mean it, then now I have to really work to make it what it is that I have already vowed that I'm going to do. That, again, is a huge challenge, because by nature, we're very selfish. By nature, we look out for ourselves. That's why our Lord said, love your neighbor as yourself. If we would treat others the way that we take care of our own self, yeah, our charity would be pretty enormous. Instead, our selfishness tends to be pretty enormous. Our charity tends to be whatever's left over. That's the part that we need to get turned the other way. We want to be able to get ourselves out of the way, because the selfishness is the opposite of charity. And so we have a lot that works against us. All kinds of stuff within our own self, the society in which we live, everything pulls in the direction of selfishness. And so it really has to be a conscious effort. But what a blessing of what God has given. Again, you look back at your baptism, you look at your marriage, you look at whatever it is that we have made vows to do, whether it's as a priest, a consecrated person, we've all made promises to God. How well are we following them? How much are we really putting our heart into doing what it is that we've told God we're going to do? That's why we want to look at it, because we can look at it honestly and say, it wasn't just a good idea. I mean, if we were all sitting back saying, yeah, I know I should probably love the Lord more, and I should probably love my spouse more, yeah, that'd be a good thing. Well, it would, but you made a vow to do it. So it's not just a nice idea. It is what you have already promised is going to happen. And so when we see ourselves pulling back, That's where we need to say, no, this is what I have already given to this person. And now I need to really live it. So what a beautiful thing that God actually presents that to us so that we make that commitment. And now it's the effort of trying to live it, to put that into practice, to have that love for God, that love for neighbor, which means dying to self, putting the self last, putting the other first.